25th law of power, recreate yourself. And this one is super important, especially nowadays, because I feel like, at least it appears to me that we've never had more eyeballs on ourselves. Like, think, like, you have 1,000 friends that follow you on Instagram. You have a few hundred friends on Facebook. You might have a TikTok. You might have a Twitter. Like, it seems like people are always putting us into a box and always defining us and always saying who we are instead of being ourselves. And one way to start getting around this is to constantly recreate yourself, to constantly captivate people with a new angle, with a new just thing about you. And it's also something that can really spark the change in your life that you've always been looking for. Because if you haven't read Atomic Habits, that's a very good book. I'm going to get around to reviewing it, but that's a topic for another day. But one of the principles from Atomic Habits is when you change a part of your environment, when you change something about yourself, that will solidify that into a new habit and you'll become a new person in essence. And what this law is basically talking about is that concept. Like, when you do something different, when you do a different hairstyle, I mean, it was a bad example for me. I can't do a different hairstyle, but let's say you got a specific hair. You got shaggy hair. Why don't you just shave your head one day? Like, people will look at you different. People will treat you different. In some way, people will view you in a different way, even though you are fundamentally the same person. And in essence, this is what this is about. Like, think about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's probably the best example. When he first started his podcast, what was it? It was just a bunch of comedians talking shit, being offensive, saying some things that they really shouldn't have been saying. Then it evolved to, him having conspiracy theorists on, like Graham Hancock, that guy that talks about ancient Egypt. Like, super interesting guy, but like, people didn't take him serious until he went on Joe Rogan and got millions and millions and millions and millions of views. And you know what? Now he boosted his own career, and at the same time, Joe was able to get more just influential guests on. He had Elon Musk on, Zuckerberg, pretty much anyone who's wanted to go on has gone on. And it's really evolved to the place where, like, Joe Rogan is the biggest person in media. And you have to think it all started when he started to reinvent himself, when, the comedians weren't getting the views they once were getting. So why don't we change it up? Why don't we hit something from a new angle? Why don't we try something new and keep ourselves at the top of the algorithm, keep ourselves at the top of what it is that we're trying to do right now? And you can see this with a million other creators. I guarantee you, like, people will change up their style when they see something else is getting popular and their views are decreasing. Like, if you do a basic search of just the most popular YouTubers, like, you will see how they have gone with the tides and just switched their content based off of what was popping. And this is something that I want you to start thinking about. Like, if people are starting to put you in a box at work, why don't you start dressing a little better? Why don't you really just put on some nice clothes and show up and walk around with a smile and see how people treat you different? Like, we oftentimes like to put people in boxes because it's easy for our mind to conceptualize people as a stagnant individual. This is who this person is. This is how I view them. This is this. But when a simple change just changes our viewpoint of that person, like, we're open to their new ideas. We're open to the new things they're trying to do. We treat them as if they're a different person, even though they're the same exact person, but they just look a bit different. So what I want you to start thinking about is, like, how could you make a change? What is something in your life that could affect you positively? What is something that, if you do it this way, it might help you tremendously? And something that I'm doing personally for myself is, I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've started to do my own thumbnails. I've started to, just put a little sentence, put a little text on top of a picture that I take from the video. And it seems to be working with the click-through rate. And, like, it's all about making that simple change. It's all about reinventing yourself. It's all about learning new skills, developing yourself, getting better, and bringing that to the world and getting that level of success that we've always wanted. Because we live in a world where it oftentimes seems like we're not lucky. We're not given it. We're not given this. But the truth is, like, the person that has your dreams right now was in the same spot as you at one point, and they were saying the same exact thing. And the only thing that kept them going was that thought that one day I'm going to do something and it's going to stick. One day I'm going to do something and it's going to bring me to that mountaintop that I've always wanted to get to. And it could be something so simple as making a tiny change, reinventing yourself, becoming a new person, presenting yourself as someone new, picking up a new habit, start going to the gym next week, start eating healthy, start, taking care of your hair before it's too late. Like, there's a million things that you could start to do, And it all starts with one step. And this law is something that I want you to start thinking about. You don't necessarily have to apply it at all times, but if you feel like you're stagnating, if you feel like you're not making the progress you should be, just change something. Just throw a wrench at it. Just find a way to make your circumstances different, and this is going to not only affect how other people view you, but how you view yourself, and it's going to allow you to get the reward and the outcome that you've always been searching for. So thank you so much for making this far. I will leave a link to this book in the description, and yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to hear more, I do more 48 Laws of Power videos. I do other books I read, and yeah, if you want to stick around, subscribe, like the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.